Hello, I'm Jim Trodden, and I'm the co-owner of the Inn at Sitters Lane here in Falmouth with my wife.
Maureen, nice to be with you today.
We've lived up in the Boston area for years, and we summered here in Falmouth. And one day we were down checking on our place in West Falmouth. It was in the wintertime.
And we drove down by the village green, and there was a for sale sign in front of this beautiful, beautiful home. And we both looked at each other and we said, that's a very nice looking home. Jim was retiring. In a few weeks, I could retire at any time. I was a secretary at the high school. And we looked it up in the newspaper and saw that it said it was a potential for a bed and breakfast.
We said, well, we need something to do in retirement. And that was in January. I retired in June, and we had our first guest in July of that year, some 12 years ago.
We should clarify Sitters Lane. A lot of people say, are you the inn at Sitters Lane? It is grammatically correct, Sitters, but Sitters Lane was named after this gentleman that lived here over 200 years ago, whose name was Consider Hatch. Hatch was a big, big name in Falmouth. And he was a very prominent person. So Sitters Lane came from his first name, Consider, so they shortened it. So that's where Sitters Lane came from.
We're very fortunate because the home was only about 10 years old when we purchased it. And when it was built, the folks that built it were very, very much into antiques. And of course, we're in the historic district also, here on Main Street. So the Historic Commission was very, very attentive to the way that the property was going to be built because it had to look like it fit on the village green. They did a great job, not only outside in the exterior, but the interior. They carried it through in the interior to make it look the period.
Little things like most of the doors that are in this home are antiques. A lot of the electrical fixtures in the bathrooms are antiques. Little ideas that nobody would think of that they have done with a lot of our chandeliers. Our hall chandelier is one of my favorites. It has just given us great pleasure to be here. We're not colonial period people, but when we moved all our things from Belmont into this house, everything fit perfectly.
We have 3 rooms. Each of them, all 3 rooms have queen-size beds. They have full private baths. They have a flat-screen TV with sitting area. The rooms all have Wi-Fi access, central air conditioning, and I think all of the rooms are well equipped and people have enjoyed staying here.
It's just a pleasure to show the rooms. The bathrooms are fantastic. They're so large because of being a new house. The closets are just an amazing feat also. They're so big. We've had people from New York come, and when we show them the room and I show them the closet, they'll say that's almost as big as my apartment in New York City. And they're very happy with the size of the room. We serve a full breakfast in the morning, hot entree, fresh fruit, something sweet, of course, to go with it. And then in the afternoons, we serve tea in the cooler months, lemonade, iced tea in the summertime. And always, always, our guests get my homemade chocolate chip cookies.
When we first started 12 years ago, there were 14 B&Bs in Falmouth, and over the years, it's changed significantly. I think we're down to eight active B&Bs now, and we also are friendly competitors. You know, we all know each other very well, and if we're full and we see somebody else's rooms open, we will refer them to the other B&B owners. So it's very supportive, and new people that come into the business, again, it's a great learning curve for them to come in and meet everybody who are active owners today. You do again come down here to stay in Falmouth. You're on vacation. It's a nice way to have a home away from home. You come in and you have your room. You have breakfast served here. You have television in your room, and the rates are reasonable. And you're not sitting in a large hotel with listening to people next door.
And people that come to B&Bs are just that type of clientele that's all they want. They just like, as Jim said, the quietness, and you do get a nice breakfast. It's a full breakfast. There's people that like breakfast.
And the interesting thing is, so often we'll see people come in and they sit down, they come down for breakfast, they've never met each other before, they introduce themselves, they start chatting with each other. Slowly, the conversation's slow, it's a little quiet, and then you hear somebody, well, where are you from? And then there's another story that picks up. And breakfast, often we think someone's going to be out of here in 45 minutes. The next thing you know, it's an hour and a half, and they're in there enjoying each other, they're laughing, and then they're sharing stories. And if they stay for a few days, then they might meet somebody who's already been over to the vineyard, and they tell them where to go and what to enjoy over there.
People that have been like the previous day, they just talk it up, and then these folks are very comfortable. They go over and enjoy the day too. It's
just a great, great thing to watch how people meet each other, enjoy being with each other, and look forward to breakfast the next day. And we've had so many people that have exchanged their email addresses, their business cards, and they've stayed in contact over the years after they left us. Our longest term was the first year we were open. There was a couple that came in the backyard, and we were out there working in the garden, and they said, do you have a room? And can we see it? And so we showed them the room, and they said, yeah, we'd like to stay for a couple of days. 10 years in a row, they've been back from Connecticut, right?
Connecticut,
yeah, from
yes.
Connecticut. And so that's 10 years in a row. They're the longest term, but we've had several people who have come back 2, 3, 4 years.
September, October, we get the wonderful folks from England or Scotland, Ireland. And when we do have folks that come from overseas, we have a plethora of flags in our front hall closet that we put out on our side porch, which designates the country that our guest is from. They love it. It's just a small flag, but it's kind of like a welcome. We actually just took our English flag in this morning. We had a couple from England last night.
Well, we're centrally located here on Main Street, very, very close to downtown Falmouth. Quick walk down the street and you're at some of the finest restaurants along the Cape. You could drive here. We have parking in the rear for anybody who drives. We've also had people who have come by bus from Boston or New York, and they get off at Falmouth Depot. It's a quick walk over to here. In addition to being able to get into town quickly, you're very close to the bike path, and a number of people have rented from the bike shop across the street.
That is a godsend. That bike path is just a jewel. And how about we forgot this, the whoosh.
Oh yeah.
That is awesome. It's a trolley bus type thing, combination. It starts Memorial Day and it comes all the way from, we have a big shopping center. It will start down there, come right up through Main Street, and it goes all the way out to Woods Hole and back. And you just hop on, give the guy the, whatever it is, 50 cents, and you get it on the way back. It's wonderful.
So you can spend 2 or 3 days here without ever touching your car, and it's you can see all of the things, again, in this local area, on bike or on foot.
Day trips, most of them say, oh, we're going to take a trip to the vineyard. Very popular, and it's a very easy thing to do. They walk right practically across the street, pick up a bus out to Woods Hole, hop the ferry, enjoy the day over there, and just retrace their steps by the bus. It's a unique area. You're right on Main Street, and just 300 yards around the corner here, you're right downtown, but you wouldn't know it. And in this whole back area, you would never know you were on Main Street.
And across the street, of course, is the Village Green, where you'll see the little kids out there with frisbees and families just stopping and chatting. So it's a nice location. Folks want to make a reservation here. Of course, I'd say about 80% of our reservations are made online today, and you can find us at our website, www.in@at, spelled out, in@sitterslane.com. So you can go on our website and you can make reservations online, and we will respond and send a confirmation back. You can call us at 508-495-4359. You can find us on TripAdvisor. You can read about comments that other folks have made about their stay here. Same on bedandbreakfast.com, the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. So there's many ways to find us, and we look forward to having you stay with us.
And we have not had a guest that we did not like, and I can honestly say that.